The goddess of WWE, Little Miss Bliss, Alexa Bliss. Like so many of the women in this game, she has a submission that helps her win matches. Eddie Guerrero is going to help boost that submission. Jerry Lawler's the other trainer in this initial setup we're going to see. This footage courtesy of Smo Nasty, who's got several top women in this game. We'll try to get some more of this footage on the channel for you. So it's purple, blue, blue. Purple move creates color turn gems, which can be a pain in the butt for your opponents and really help in different situations of this game. Going against Paige, who's another top woman with a submission that causes problems. We get our submission off because of Eddie Guerrero. We're getting it off on turn 2, and it's a 6-turner. So many of the women's matches that you'll play take a long time. That's just the nature of the women characters in this game because of the submissions and because, quite frankly, the damage is not the same as what you see for the male characters, except perhaps for Ronda, who can create these massive cascades. And sometimes when she hits her finisher, it goes for 80, 90, 100,000, depending on the damage. You see the color turn gems doing what they do. One drawback I've always found with color turn gem characters is that you might have something set up with your moves full, a nice move all set to go, and the color turn gems do their thing and cause a pin, which is not always your desirable situation. We're just a minute and a half or so into this match and we're already on submission cycle number 2. Paige not able to get her moves off. And Paige does have some dangerous moves when she puts her submission gems out. Some special gems go on the board that can cause you trouble, but cycling these submissions in the women's division is the way to keep your opponents from using those special moves against you. 3 more rows of color turn gems go out. Now finisher, this isn't going to get the job done, but you see the finisher, even for a 4-star Alexa Bliss, only came to just over 20K. That's why these matches take a long time, and having an effective submission is the way to keep the lead in these matches. Sometimes one dry spell on the board or one miscalculated move can turn the tide, and all of a sudden you're on the wrong end of these submissions. So key to get to your submission first. Lucky those color turn gems didn't cause a pin there because Paige had her submission ready to go. But now we've got ours again. And down she goes. She's got to start over. So without Eddie Guerrero on her, that becomes a 3-turn submission, which takes the moves down a little bit. But because the women's submissions in this game are usually relatively low charged, sometimes 3 turns only gets it down to a certain point, and then one good match for your opponent gets that move filled up again. So I think Alexa's best setup is certainly with Eddie Guerrero. I have Alexa Bliss. I do not have Eddie Guerrero. One of the reasons why I haven't enhanced her to 4-star yet, because I think she's just not at the point where I can make her elite until one day I pull Eddie Guerrero. That's just a pipe dream, but. So there's a win over Paige. It's about a good 4.5 minute match. That's pretty standard when you've got 4-star woman versus 4-star woman. So if you're like me and you don't have Eddie Guerrero, purple, blue, Xavier Woods and NXT Seth Rollins. This is another way to get that submission filled early. We're prioritizing purple off the top here. Get those 2 purple moves full. And we've got our blue submission. Going against Naomi here. Naomi is another very similar. A quick sub. But paper cuts for damage. It's all about cycling these moves. So you see what this setup does, the 2 purples, is the first purple move creates color turn gems. The second purple move changes those color turn gems, a certain amount of them, into blue, which is why NXT Seth is on her in this setup. Changing as many of those color turn gems as we can into blue to get to our submission. You saw now it's only a 3 turn because no Eddie Guerrero. Stinger in the male division has a very similar setup to this Alexa Bliss. He's got to change a large area to color turn, change the color turns to blue, which leads to his Scorpion submission. So this setup, very comparable between Surfer Sting and Alexa Bliss. Round 2 of the submission. If you're talking tiers for the women, where does Alexa Bliss rank in this whole thing? I think it's pretty clear that with the amount of women that have been released so far, Ronda Rousey is head and shoulders the best. I don't think there's much questioning that. She just does quick damage. She does damage that the other women in this game cannot do. And she does it pretty quickly. So who's behind her? I think it's a competition between Alexa, Charlotte, and Paige. You might give a slight edge to Charlotte. She does fairly decent damage. Her moves are low charge. Another submission specialist. With Eddie Guerrero, I think Alexa's right there with her. And when you're talking about how far do I take up these female superstars, they're not going away. Every so often, say every 3rd, maybe every 4th faction feud, it's going to be women. So unless you want to plan your playing schedule around taking every 3rd or 4th feud off, you really need to prioritize getting whoever you think is your best female superstar as high as they can go. For some people starting out, 3-star gold is the benchmark. 4 stars are just a bit of a pipe dream at this point. But if you're looking at your roster and saying, okay, I'm planning out my 4-star evolves here, I want to get someone in each category, don't forget to include the female superstars in your thinking. Now, there are some that I wouldn't consider taking to 4-star. I don't think zombie Sasha Banks is very strong. I don't think Natalya is particularly strong. If someone has a 3-star gold or 4-star Natalya and wishes to contradict what I'm saying, please let me know in the comments, and I'll try and get some 4-star Natalya footage for you and prove myself wrong. I don't think Nia Jax, unfortunately, is very strong. Before I got Ronda, she was initially my best female superstar. I pulled her at 3-star silver, I think, in one of the loots, and I immediately took her up to gold. And it's disappointing because she's a powerhouse, but doesn't have much power, if that makes sense. Her moves just don't hit hard at all. I'm realizing that's a theme with the women, but she also doesn't get a submission until you make her 4-star. So she's one of the very few female superstars you can't control a match with your submission. It's all about getting her finisher off as many times as possible, and it's a finisher that doesn't hit very hard. But anyway, I digress. We're talking about Alexa Bliss. A victory here over Naomi with the purple blue. Again, that's a good 4 to 5 minute match. These are not quick hitters. One final setup we'll look at with Alexa involves her red move going against Ronda here. So this is with Sting and NXT Seth. It's red, blue, taking out the 2 purples and running both blue moves with the red. Prioritizing red with Sting here off the top to get that move charged, which we have. This makes, with NXT Seth, 9 random gems into blue. Not a choose move. There aren't many female superstars with choose moves. But 9 random gems, not so terrible. And you think there's 49 gems on the board, and 9 of them becoming blue, connecting with, if you say there's an average of 7 gems of any particular color on the board at any particular time, you're looking at 16 blue gems on the board. So a decent chance you're going to get the matches you need to get that submission loaded. So this is a setup where you're running 2 finishers. You're not relying on your submission to end the match, because you've got the Twisted Bliss if you get her in a position where you can go for the pin. The one drawback to the Twisted Bliss in this setup is there are no color turn gems to manipulate on your finisher, because there are no moves that generate color turn gems other than the submission gems that are left on the board at the end of the submission. So while it loads this submission pretty quickly with that red move, the 9 random, the one aspect you're missing here in this build with Alexa is the color turn gems. On the flip side of that, the color turn gems aren't causing you the pain of a potential early pinfall when you're not looking for it. The other case you can make for taking Alexa to 4-star is, unless you have one of the 3 elite acrobats, and I think when you're talking elite at 4 stars, there are only 3. Macho Man, Eddie Guerrero, and now Jimmy Uso. Alexa's probably your smartest next option. It's a fairly weak class, and Alexa can fill that void, give you a great woman for female feuds. So pick one of these move sets you like, take Alexa to 4-star, enjoy.